Episode contains discussions surrounding bullying. Viewer discretion advised. This is the final episode of Sisters Squared, and on these two episodes we have the Abaya family. We have Ashley, we have Nicole, and we have Mom over here. Welcome to Sisters Squared, and I am so excited you guys are here. I've been waiting to have this chat with you for how many months now? A long time. I first met this family, oh my goodness, how many years? 15? 15?
Longer.
Yeah, 20?
Maybe longer. Grade 2.
Grade
You're my grade 2 teacher.
I was Nikki's grade 2 teacher, yes, and Ashley was around. And I saw her lots, and she just reminded me of my sister so much. Every time I saw her, my heart just pulled for Ashley, yes. And so then, just not very long ago, Miss Nikki got engaged, and she came into my store, and with her came Ashley. And in that process, I had already written this grant for the podcast and was so hoping that I could interview this beautiful family. And in walks Nikki and Ashley and Mom into my store. I was like dumbfounded, and I thought, oh, my prayers were answered. Here you were, and you agreed to come and sit with me. And so I want the world to know your side of how you lived through the demographics of the unknown. Because I would think that you probably have a similar story to my mom in what year was Ashley born?
87.
1987. And so that's at 13 years past when Mom had Christine. And so at that time, she knew nothing. She knew nothing. There was no pre-warning to what type of child she was going to have. And being the strong Catholic family that we were, 10 fingers and 10 toes was all we ever cared about. So walk me through a little bit of what was that like for you? Did you have any warning signs during your pregnancy? Was there any type of tests done for you for that determination? Was there anything in the family? Share your story there, if there is one. Maybe there isn't one.
Well, I was 25 years old.
Okay.
I have Ash. And of course, there's no testing when you're 25, you're young.
Was Ashley your first baby?
Ashley is our first
okay.
baby. Yeah.
Yes.
So she was born July 10 of 1987. I had a hard labor, 12 hours. And having as, first baby, you don't know what's really going on. Mm-hmm. She came out and after 12 hours, and the nurse that helped me go through it came and said that the doctor wants to talk to you. So me and my husband were there, and so the pediatrician came and said that your baby has Down syndrome. So
that was your first.
That was your first time
dialogue.
That we heard that. So I wasn't really as shocked as my husband, because Leo already worked at Missionary Services at that time.
So you knew what it meant.
No, I didn't really know what it meant, but Leo had some already idea, because he's already working at Missionary. So, and then when they got things settled, they said that we have to move the baby to Edmonton ASAP.
And what was the reason behind that?
She was needing 100% oxygen, so they want to move her to NICU at the University of Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
So,
was there a blood test done at that time, or was it just a physical feature diagnosis?
That's a physical feature diagnosis from the pediatrician.
And was there any talk or mention or counseling for you immediately right then and there?
The following day, there was a social worker, as I recall, that came and said that, your baby has Down syndrome, and there was like a question right away if you're putting it up for adoption.
Yes, that's the question my mother received.
So it's like,
yeah.
I looked at my husband and we were shocked, and we said right away, no, it's our baby. Like, and with the strong Catholic faith we have, we're not
exactly
giving up.
Yeah. My mom went 3 days and she didn't even see my sister. And she kept saying, where's my baby? Where's my baby? Where's my baby? And so that's where I just go back to, was there any type of counseling or was there any type of understanding?
Well, as far as I recall, when they said that, when they got it all settled, the helicopter came, and then they came and showed Ashley to me first, and then we got her baptized, because I asked. My sister-in-law said.
In the hospital?
At the hospital.
How many hours from birth to helicopter?
Right, quick though. She was born in the afternoon, so maybe around 8 or 9.
Okay. So very stressful.
Very stressful. Like, but
on everyone.
It's overwhelming to me.
Yes.
But there's lots of family in there. My brother-in-law was there. My sister-in-law, that's a nurse. They're both nurses.
And so you hung on to family.
Yes. And my husband was there, and of course we just came. The priest came, and they asked us what you want the child to be named, so we call her Ashley Teresa.
Beautiful.
So
beautiful.
Before she left to Edmonton, she got baptized.
Okay. And then how long was she in Edmonton? And
so
your family's there with her?
No, I don't think so. So she was flown, but the following day, I said I can't stay here. So I got discharged right away the following day, and we went to Edmonton right away to see her the following day. At University of Alberta in ICU. Yeah.
And so when the shock of everything is wearing off, and she's healthy now, and you're taking her home, and you're joyous, of course.
Yeah. So Ashley was born in July, but we didn't get her home, I believe, not till September or August. Yeah.
Okay.
August. Yeah.
Okay.
I stayed there because she was born preemie too, like a little bit, like 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you brought her home. How many months later?
About 2 months.
2 months. Okay.
2 months.
And so then, what did life look like for you with her? Were you working?
No, I wasn't working.
Okay.
No. So I was like.
You're 25.
I was 25.
Right? You're 25.
They're small baby.
How old are you, Nikki?
I'm 33 now.
33.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was a little bit scared, but there's a lot of family support, friends. That's really good friends with my in-laws. And there's a lot of support. Leo was always there. And, when we get Ashley home, he's always there. He's the one, looking after most of the time, how to wrap the baby.
Yeah.
I don't. At that time, they would teach you before even going home. They would teach you how to wrap
in the hospital
baby properly.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff,
learn all of that. Yeah.
And it was hard for Ashley to suck.
Okay. Did you breastfeed?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I just pumped, and then we give her the bottle. But we have a special nipple for her.
Okay.
There was a special store in Edmonton, so we have that. And then the NICU, of course, very helpful to help me learn how to feed her properly.
Yeah. And so feeding her was a struggle.
Feeding her was a struggle
for a long time, or
not really though. Yeah. As soon as we found the right nipple, then she was okay. But then,
How was growth progressively for her?
Very slow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when we got her home, that August, she got sick. She got very sick, so she was brought to Red Deer again, and then they have to move her to Edmonton again. Yeah.
Okay.
So
there was a lot of years with health struggles.
Yeah, because during the first 2 years of her life,
yeah,
it's like in and out from the emergency.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how
just keeping her just
yeah.
alive.
Yeah, or no, she was already okay.
Okay.
At that time, because I guess she was allergic to milk, so she was on. They figured it out in Edmonton.
Yeah.
So she was on Pediasure for a long time.
Yeah.
That's where, and then we got her back to Red Deer, and they insisted that we learn how to put the tube in, but I can't do it. Just I can't do it. But my husband did.
Okay.
Once.
Yeah.
So when Leo did it once, then Ashley starts sucking.
Okay.
Feeding. But we did it once. So we have all the equipment, they supplied lots of support, from the NICU here, the pediatric here in Red Deer. So there's a lot of good nurses that help me through the years. And good doctors. Yeah. The only thing that I struggle is when I go to the emerge and you have to wait there for hours.
Yeah.
And they have to dig all your file. So
you should be at the top of the file by now.
But my doctor said, when you get there, let them page me. So I've been doing that for a long time.
Okay.
So I don't have to wait and the file is there. Yeah. But of course, later on, I can't do it anymore. So there's a lot of, but I did a lot of reading too about Down syndrome.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And
did you have some support groups that you belonged to, or did you manage that on your own?
I managed that on my own at first, and then I have the family circle works at Missionary Services, so they're exposed. So I learned that a lot from them, which they became really good friends, family to us, even to now.
What types of things did you learn from them? What skills did they provide? Or tools maybe in your tool belt too.
I have the books. I borrowed books on reading, and even when I was in Edmonton, I asked questions. So
and
they
was
even
it more
asked me,
to
"Are you a nurse?"
Understand what Down syndrome was, or how to move forward with this in your life?
And then I have the opportunity to work at Missionary.
Yes.
So that's where I really learned and understand lots.
Yeah.
And through the years, I look after a young Down syndrome lady, which maybe because she was put in there, she was very withdrawn to people.
Yeah.
But when I got her, I treated her as my own and dressed her properly. And so even the parents thanked me.
Yeah.
She became more talking or coming to people.
So having Ashley has shaped who you are, really.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Because do you think you would have taken a role at the Mitchner Center had Ashley not been in your life?
I still maybe, because maybe I was thinking I'm a people's power growing up.
Interesting, yeah.
And I care for people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we were bring up way back home. So, but it was hard having as our first baby. People would ask, for my first question is why God is giving, that one, and we were young, and people would stare at us, and they were like, how come Leo and Mayette, they're beautiful, and how come they have this baby? But in our mind, we didn't mind that at all.
What kind of answers did you give each other for that? Those types of inquisitive people, and they are inquisitive people, right?
So
how did this happen to such beautiful people? It can happen to ugly people too. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And what does beautiful mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people in Red Deer that's not, even though if we have missionary services for a long time, there's still a lot of people that understand. At that time, like
Do
in
not
the early
understand.
in the
Yeah.
80s, the 90s, they didn't really understand, especially the older people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you feel that shifted a lot?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
How do you see it shifted? How do you see that?
Because like working as a missionary, there's a lot of inclusion they did through the years when they were putting individuals in the community, and when they started the labeling, the names, that changed.
People are becoming more accepting, is what you're seeing.
Yeah, and they're
Some people.
they're getting into the community more.
Yes.
And they're getting their dress
Recognized.
as normal. They're recognized.
Yes. Yeah. As intelligent beings.
Because Down syndrome are there's degrees of Down syndrome.
Yes.
And you can teach them. They're very smart.
Yeah. And the degrees is important as well. And there's also different types, right? There's 2 different types or 3 different types? I think there's 3.
Yes, there's 3.
Anyways, very different levels. And I know that Ashley is much more functioning than my sister, Christine. My sister lives in a group home and cannot function on her own. She needs 24/7 supervision.
But maybe the training?
It's possible, right? It's possible. And I think she gets far more training in her group home than she did when she lived at home with my parents, right? And they made that choice to move her, as they were getting older. And we can talk about that. Where does Ashley live now? How do you see her as an independent human in society today? What does that look like for you guys?
There's a lot of struggles to
Absolutely
getting her into the community, and a lot of fear. But there's a lot of programs too in Red Deer. Like, having said that, work at missionary, I learned a lot, and I have connections, like people, and so I got her. There's a program after high school, EPSS.
Yes.
So I got her into that program.
And can you explain what EPSS
I guess
is? It's a placement system for workers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact acronym means either, but I know I've utilized it for my son.
Yeah.
So yes,
And then I got a job coach for her.
Okay.
To apply. So she was the one looking Ashley for work. So actually, can I ask her where did you work, Ash? DQ. She worked at DQ.
Okay. She works at DQ now?
No, not anymore.
She
did, used
yeah.
to. And then that job coach got her into the Bay.
The Bay?
As a seasonal worker.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And then the clothing store at Bauer Mall.
Okay.
Too.
Did you have a favorite place you worked at? No?
No.
My sister did a convenience store for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
No, longer.
Nice.
A long time, yes. Yeah.
So, but actually, EPSS they have a funding, and actually that store, they're just there for she gets a paycheck, but actually there's a funding for them EPSS pays. Not till she got into the Black Knight Inn. That's your favorite restaurant or hotel. She got in there.
Yeah, and that is a beautiful
Ash?
place. Yeah.
What were you doing there at the Black Knight Inn? You forgot?
Waitressing.
She was setting up the table,
setting up
the cutlery. She was really
lovely,
good, actually.
I would say she was more independent pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID,
she was very pre-COVID. She would EPSS supported her to take the bus downtown by herself.
Yeah.
So she would go downtown, take the bus. She had a job. From her job, she would go to classes at the Learning Circle.
Oh, wow.
She was, she'd get herself ready in the morning, very independent. But since COVID, no more job. We're taking the bus.
She said she retired.
Yeah, she said she retired. When mom and dad retired, she retired.
I got the same conversation with my sister.
She
She retired
retired,
as well.
yeah.
So it was her choice, not EPS's, like it wasn't
No.
a choice of because COVID, right? She just
Well, COVID
chose to-
stopped. COVID
yeah.
stopped everything, but I think
yes, definitely.
the fears that COVID caused, I think,
Yeah.
caused her not to want to go back.
Right.
Also,
And it's much comfortable to be inside too. I feel like
Plus
COVID
Black
did
Night
a little
in.
bit of a mentality
Yeah.
break to a lot of and
But
more
she's still-
challenging on people who are already struggling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then since I retired, she's not taking the bus anymore.
She's not taking the
and
bus
Dad
anymore.
is there to take her and
Yeah.
fix her up. But she's right on her schedule. Like she gets up, nighttime. She prepares her outfit in the evening, what she's going to wear. I just
And so
let
she's
her.
still living at home.
Oh yes.
Yes. And do you have plans for her? And you can stop me if you don't want me to discuss it, but what are your plans once you're no longer here? Have you thought about that?
Of course, there's a lot of
Yes,
thought,
yeah.
but at this time, she can still live with us. Like
Yeah.
you know, I know she always say my friend live in a group home or in a home or something, but we always say maybe they didn't have family anymore or so. But mom and dad's still here, so
Yeah. And if she chose to go live on her own, would you support something like that? It's a tough question. I'm sorry, you don't have to answer.
Yeah.
Right? I know that it was a difficult decision for my parents, right? And what they did was that she lived with them for up until, I don't even know how old she was, but then what they did is they moved out of the house and they turned their home into the group home. So that it was an easier transition. Now they went to some extreme lengths by, selling their home to government funding type thing. And then it became, someone else moved in, but at least she didn't feel the change.
Yeah.
Right. But then since then she has moved to many, many places.
Yeah.
And, my dad has passed and my mom is not going to be here forever either. And so they've made, their choice and that's what we live with. And it works, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure whatever you choose will work for you as well.
Yeah.
So let's move into when did
could I quickly make a comment on that?
Absolutely, for
Also,
sure.
we have made like movements on that, I guess, in having me and my brother be co-guardians of my sister right now, so that if anything happened legally, like we could make decisions and support for her. But I think, like, because of the way that our family is, that she would always remain with family of some sort until the point of, I think, we couldn't provide the care that she required.
Right.
And I think that, like, mirrors the way that we've cared for my grandma. She lived with us forever.
Yes.
And she lived with us until the point where I feel like we couldn't provide the care that she required. And I think that will be probably the same thing.
Yeah. And I appreciate that from you. And I wish, that was how every family could operate, right? And it's very cultural in your world as well. And I just appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to when the siblings came into the world. So how many years and who came first?
Ryan. So
Ryan was also one of my students.
Ryan too, yeah, of course.
I love this family. I love you guys.
So, it's a blessing. I'd always say that Ryan came into the world after a year or 3 months. Because
all of our children are blessings, right? Absolutely. They are.
Ashley learned so much from him.
Did she?
Ashley was following Ryan.
Yeah, she would. She would mimic his movements, wouldn't he? Yeah.
No, when Ryan walked at 8 months, Ashley wasn't walking yet.
No.
So,
Christine didn't walk till at least, I want to say 3, maybe. Yeah. A long time.
Ashley probably, I'd say 2. So they would have this cart or that kind of truck.
Yeah.
Ryan would like wobbling in our house in Glendale when we moved there in 89. Ryan was born in Feb of 89 and we moved there in October. So Ashley would start up getting up to that and sort of following Ryan. next time, she's learning how to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and followed Ryan until I found this preschool, or like Ashley's daycare. Was that the one? Ashley's play school. Because so at that time, like in the north side, Ashley's friends and play school. So the owner of that one took Ryan and Ashley together.
Okay.
They went to play school together.
And how was that transition for you? How long did they stay in play school?
Of course, Ryan stayed only for a year, but then Ashley.
Was it 8-hour days, like while you were at work?
No.
Or was it just?
It's only
half day.
Half day.
Half a day. Yeah.
But then Ashley stayed there for 2 years.
Okay.
And the owner of that, actually, there's an aide that worked there that helped Ashley.
Okay. And what kind of baby and child was she? Was she colic? Did she cry a lot? Did she have fits of rage, or was she very easygoing and didn't do anything wrong? Didn't get into any trouble?
Well,
did you have to keep your eye on her 24/7?
As a baby, she was a good baby. Like, not till, of course, when she got sick too, and she was needing oxygen 24 hours. Like we have this long, but she learned how to walk around with that long tube.
Okay.
But when she don't need it, she would take it off and just crawl or play it around. And when she needed it, she put it back.
Okay.
She was a good baby. And then I have help too, looking after, like with her and Ryan, it's like we have 2 babies.
Yeah.
But then we sponsored, we want family to come over at that time to help me looking after, and especially with her. My sister-in-law came.
Okay.
They used order sister to
yeah.
help me and look after the 2 kids. Yeah.
And so you had lots of help.
I have lots of help. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have
And
lots
so
of help.
then Nicole comes into the picture.
And then Nikki came. It's just such a blessing to have Nikki. I always thank her, even to this day, that she's very, very good with her sister.
How old is Ashley now and Ryan?
Ashley is 38. And Ryan.
No, when Nikki's born. When Nikki's born, we're still.
When Nikki's, they're 6 years.
6 years.
6 years apart, right?
So we're already in school. When did school happen for her? When did she?
19. She was born in 87, so after 6 years.
So she was 6 when she went to school. Like many children go at 6 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She went into a regular mainstream
school.
classroom at Holy Family School. Which classroom? Which
Not
school?
Holy Family. We were in St. Teresa's.
St. Teresa's. Okay.
So at that time in Red Deer, there's the only special ed in St. Teresa's.
Yes.
So, where we're in the north side, we got that house.
I started my career at St. Teresa's.
So
yes, I'm familiar with the program.
And then she got moved to with kindergarten in there. And so from then on, she finished her grade 6 there.
So she went to St. Teresa's from kindergarten to grade 6.
6.
Now, what was that like for you and your family? Did you go to St. Teresa's as well? Did Brian?
Just play school for
I
you.
only did
Okay.
play school because then we had moved to the south end
the
of Red
south.
Deer.
Okay.
But because of the program, I think she still went to that school.
Yeah, she did. She stayed there. But, they're lucky that there's the bus program. I was given a choice to if I want to give Ashley the taxi. So we tried that, and I said no. I can't let her stay in. I go to work, but my mother-in-law is there to send them to school. But then I said later on that I want Ashley to be in the bus system because there's more kids. There's it's So
she needs to interact with other children, other children, and other.
And she learn, like, get into the bus, get it. So we were lucky enough that the bus comes right to our door, and Ashley hops in and goes to St. Teresa's.
Yeah, and at St. Teresa's, she's in a totally different classroom for her language, for her math, for her basic core subjects.
Yeah.
And then is she taken and integrated for arts and musics and things like that?
Yeah.
And how big was her classroom? Do you remember?
I can't even remember. There's few of them.
Was there more than 15? Would you say? No,
at that
like
time.
probably
There's
8.
Maybe 6 or 8.
Yeah. And so, how many staff was there at that time?
Well, at that time, they applied for a teacher's aide.
So just one teacher with the 8 students? Or was there a teacher aide in there as well? Do you remember?
She got her own. I know it's a long time.
But she had her own. Oh, nice.
Got her own,
so she had funding.
I applied for that. She got funding for that. But
perfect.
With the funding, you have to ask. And, and she got the funding. And then there's another teacher and there's another teacher's aide, I believe. Because I met, I know them through the years. And then when her friend, the other friend came, they shared aid, which I agree. Yeah. Because they're on the same. Yeah. Because of the funding too.
Yeah. And so because there's 6 years and you're at different schools, you never were then a part of any of her education years really at all. You had your own kind of world.
We only went to school together for 1 year.
And what year was that?
When I was in grade 6 and she was in grade 9. That was the only year the 3 of us went to the same school.
I didn't even know.
Okay.
Because of the way the school systems came up, they had gone to St. Thomas for middle school, but when St. Francis came up, where we lived meant that we would actually all go to the same school. But because it was 6 and 9, they moved after 1 year.
Moved. They were the first students that opened St. Francis.
Yeah. My son was in the grade 6 year that year as well when they just opened St. Francis. It was kind of a little bit of a mixed up year, wasn't it? Yeah. So walk me through how that was for you. And when I say walk me through it, I take you back to that age and that time So, and I'll just walk through my story. Yeah. So my sister and I and my brother all went to the same school because it was the only option. It was that small of a community that we were there. And so we saw all of it. We saw how she was treated. We saw the bullying. We saw it all. So I just want to hear that type of story. And so we were discussing what school looked like because you did spend 1 year together, all 3 of you. And so let's walk through some of that experiences and the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think it was all pretty good, to be honest.
Oh, good, amazing.
I think the way that Red Deer created those programs for Ashley and all of her friends really supported them and made them a place. And feel like, from my perspective anyways, I feel like the bullying didn't really happen. We didn't really see it.
That's
People
amazing.
kind of just knew, and to be mean wasn't really a thing, I feel like.
No.
There were things that happened though, and I'm sure Ryan could speak more to what going to school with Ashley was like more clearly because they'd spent the majority of their years together. They were in the same grade and everything. Like, some of the stories were like Ashley would have crushes on some of like Ryan's friends, and then Ryan would have to deal with that.
Of course.
But I don't think there was a whole lot of like bullying because there were programs and they were so supported, and she had her own friends as well.
Yeah.
That the things that they did together as like just her group, and then when they integrated them with the rest of the students, I think it was okay.
Yeah.
And so when we all went to school, to be honest, at that point in time, I don't think the majority of my friends even knew I had a sister with Down syndrome.
Interesting.
I kept that quite close. Growing up, I was quite private about my personal life, but even like the things that I did, some of the activities I did, I kept those to myself. And only the people who really knew me or who I feel like were really close knew. And so when we'd gone to school together and they kind of found out, it was kind of just like, wow, I didn't know that about you. And that was it. Yeah.
And I think a lot of those dynamics, again, too, has to do with the environment that you're in, right? You're in a Catholic school system, which is very accepting of everyone. I was in a public system, small town, everyone knew everyone and what everyone did and that type of thing. And so, and again, maybe a 20-year span of education in between there as well, where the world is so much more aware and accepting, right? Which is so.
I just had my 18th birthday 2 weeks ago.
You just had your 18th birthday 2 weeks
last
ago?
year.
Last year?
When my parents came, she died. Just hit my cake, so
Who? You had your birthday here.
I was 18.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That hold out over there.
Oh, when you turned 18, you have your debut.
Yeah.
Big birthday.
At a hotel.
At Red Deer Lodge.
Oh, yes.
She cried. She ate my cake.
Yeah. I guess she was, I want to say in our culture, once you turn 18, we have this big party debut. So I just want, because I never had that a big party before growing up. So I just, and Leo wanted it too. So it turned out to be really, really, we planned it really nice.
I got this dress.
You got this dress, the pink one. Yeah, and you were singing. You had the big cake.
We had a big cake.
Dancing.
They were dancing.
I had an acting dance.
Candles. And so we have this 18 roses.
Okay.
And usually those are her friends, but we incorporated the people that helped us through the years. They were the ones who came and gave Ashley roses, and even the candles, the guys, or it's the other way around. Yeah.
So what is it at 18 creates this big pattern? Because in another culture it's 15, right?
Yeah.
So 18
so it's like 18 for our culture, you show them that they're a womanhood to
so like
the
an
community.
adult, you're becoming an adult. Yes. And you had the same party?
I did. I
Yes.
didn't want the party.
Oh, you didn't want the party. You didn't want the party.
Because I was quite shy growing up.
Oh,
Ashley was the opposite.
Yeah.
And so, but I had the party, and it was good for me to have the party and my friends and do all the whole
I
thing.
found that relationship with my sister as well, that she was the outgoing and the one who got, a lot of the attention and that type of thing. And I had to keep up. I was not shy. However, it was interesting how those dynamics come about. Yeah. Did Ryan have the same birthday as well? Did they have the same type of thing for a boy as they do a girl? No, they don't have the fun.
No.
Oh, well, that's too bad, I guess.
We had a Christmas party at my
You had a
house.
Christmas party.
My old house. We had 2 beds. I got my sister's hair up to here.
You cut her
Oh.
hair?
Yeah.
This happened a couple of times.
Oh, dear.
So we got into a little
well.
trouble, her and I.
Oh, well, this is the stories I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple months before my cousin's wedding.
How old are we?
I think I was 3.
Was it 3?
I think I was 3 and Ash was 6,
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be flower girls.
They were
in the
flower
wedding.
girls.
Oh, dear.
And it was one of our cousins, like the first
The first
to be
cousins.
married. And we were a bit too quiet in the basement. We were both cutting each other's hair. So my hair turned out like
You were cutting hers and
she was cutting mine. I cut hers a little bit.
We're having some fun.
Luckily, her hair was curly, so I just
Hide.
tied it up. And Nikki didn't really cut her hair up to here. It's just kind of down here. I thought, oh my God. It's those are and Ryan was there coloring.
Just
So I
letting
said-
it happen.
I said, Ryan, why did you come to... Wow, I don't know what the girls were doing. So it's and I don't know how I felt before. My chest was heavy and I can't yell. And I called Dad. And he said, well, what do? You found scissors. From then on,
No scissors
No
allowed.
scissors.
It did happen to Lindsay though. She did cut
Oh,
Lindsay's hair too.
it did happen on one of Ashley's birthday.
Okay.
Ashley always have a birthday, even to this day. Not really as big, but always have birthdays. So they were upstairs. They were quiet, and so cutting up the cake. Where's Ashley and Lynn? Can't find them. So I went upstairs in Ashley's room. She cut Lindsay's hair. And even the sisters, we have this
Right up
fun.
to there.
Short.
It's short, and Lindsay's hair was like long. So I said, oh my God, how do I gonna tell Mom? So when she came and picked up Lindsay, I said, and she goes, it's okay, it's just hair, it will grow. And I was just crying. So from then on, Lindsay's already have short hair, even to this date.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And Lindsay is your best friend. You've had a relationship with Lindsay for a long time. We met Lindsay at school, did we?
Yeah.
Actually, me and Lindsay and Julia were born. I met Julia since kindergarten.
Since kindergarten.
I can't
Yeah.
even walk.
So was Lindsay in your first programming from kindergarten all the way through?
Yes.
From
They've
high
been
school.
in the same class
Lindsay,
and became best
Yeah,
friends.
they
Yeah, my
became best
sister had a
friends.
very best friend as
Yeah.
well, and same type of thing. They went through the whole program together.
Mm-hmm.
Parents were friends, their
Oh,
parents and
yeah.
my parents, and I think that you create a new connections
Yes.
and communities and people that you would never can be around had
Yeah.
this type of relationship happen in our worlds.
Yeah.
So meeting those connections and making those connections and communities are so important as well. And,
Very
and
important.
outside of schooling and family, how did we go about the community? Just like any type of day, were there other struggles outside of, let's go into maybe type religion. So some of the struggles in religion for me and my family were the understanding and going through all the sacraments, those types of things, baptism, First Communion, all of those, because we are a very strong Catholic family as well, and my mom wanted all of those same experiences for my sister as well. And she struggled with it a little bit because of, is there a full understanding? So I think we had a little discussion about it once that you didn't have that same experience. So walk me through how that all went about. Did you did she go through the programs at school?
Yeah, when, they have that, the sacraments. Well, at first she was baptized as Catholic.
Yeah,
she was
in the
already
hospital,
baptized
yes.
at the hospital,
Yeah.
but we have her baptized formally with all, the fancy dress and everything. And then when she went to the school system, she went through the First Communion, and you have, of course, like as parents, we go through all the meetings and everything.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
for me, I make sure that I'm always aware of, even though working full time and with the 2 kids, I go to have what's going on in the school and stuff. So I always attend programs, meetings, and everything.
Yeah.
So she did her first communion and other all of the sacraments. She's been-
Everything
no
normal,
problem
no
at all.
issues. That's
No.
amazing. That's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
2020, I went to my sister's soccer team in that class. That's my sister in that class.
Let's talk a little bit about that, being sisters. What's it like having a sister and a brother?
Yeah. When I was small, me and my sister, we went to this store. She wanted a doll, and my brother caught it, the legs, and she took the legs off. Yeah.
That was not a good thing, was it?
No.
No. There was a time that my brother took my sister's Barbie dolls, and he took her hair, the blonde hair of the Barbie doll, and stuck it in the ceiling. And she hung there like that. And when Christine came by and saw that, she was devastated, and she was ready to ship him off on a train because how dare he hang her Barbie dolls from the ceiling?
Yeah.
She was not impressed. But then she got him back, and she hid his wallet, and he couldn't find it anywhere. He did a lot of things to tease my sister.
These.
He did. He stole her bike one time, and teased her by driving it in front of the window on one wheel. She was mad because she thought he was going to wreck it on her. And he did things like that to aggravate her. Did you do things like that, Nikki? Did you, like, this is typical sibling kind of type thing, I think.
Yeah.
But when outside people look at it, they might think of it as, boy, you were mean.
No.
Right? Because I got a lot of, oh, you're so mean to your sister. And to me, it was normal behavior that I did with my brother. I did with my sister too.
I think the same for us.
Yeah.
I think our family jokes a lot. And a lot of the joking is like, sometimes not as nice, but what me and my brother will say is we treat her the way that we would treat her otherwise. The way that we treat each other. That there was never really like special treatment that we would do the same.
Hi, we're going to just take a quick break. We all need to refresh and have a sip of coffee, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks so much.